Johnson, it's great to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us. I wanted, first of all, to start by getting your reaction to what we're just seeing out of New York City's hospitals. And as we mentioned, you saw a report there, at least one healthcare worker has died. Nurses, we showed the image, nurses wearing trash bags because they don't have the proper equipment. How is this happening in a city like New York, and what is the city doing to stop it?
Well, these are insane and heartbreaking images that we are seeing. And what you're seeing in Elmhurst yesterday in Queens is sadly potentially going to be what you're going to see at more hospitals across New York City and across the country. And my hope is that these images are haunting in some ways for our policymakers and leaders in Washington. New York City needs their help now. We needed it yesterday. We needed it last week. We need more personal protective equipment. We need more ventilators, and we need it now. These doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals are our heroes on the front line, and it is insane that in the United States of America, the wealthiest country in the world, in New York City, the wealthiest city in this country, you are seeing images of nurses in garbage bags, and you see hospitals getting overrun. And we are nowhere near the apex. We don't know when the wave is going to crest. We need to halt transmission, build up hospital capacity, get more personal protective equipment and ventilators, and we need to do it immediately, and we need Washington's help.
So right at this point, I mean, obviously, we're going to have a lot in the months and years ahead to kind of look back and find out where the system failed all of these people. But who do you hold accountable for the situation that we're in right now?
Well, Washington has clearly failed us. You have the president over the course of the last 2 months saying that we were going to see 0 cases, that this was a hoax, that we were perfectly prepared. He said just last week that he bore no responsibility for the situation that we're in, and we still have not gotten the necessary supplies that we need. We've gotten a drip, we've gotten a trickle, but we have not gotten the ventilators we need. This is life and death. It's life and death for COVID-19 patients, but it's also life and death for the healthcare workers and professionals that are on the front line, that are exposed to this every single day in an overrun hospital setting, and we need to get them the help that they need. I hope that folks in Washington are seeing these images. I'm glad that doctors and nurses are sharing their stories, because America needs to know this. The world needs to know this. Viruses don't know state boundaries. This could happen in other states and other cities in the United States and across the world. People need to be prepared, and Washington needs to see this and get us these supplies immediately.
All right, so there's been at least a little bit of an attempt by Congress to get some aid out to the American people. Your state senator, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, he's celebrating that $2 trillion stimulus package that was passed by the Senate overnight, expected to get signed ultimately by the president. He says benefits for New York include $40 billion in unemployment insurance, grants for hospitals like that one that we just saw, funding for the MTA. Is this bill something to celebrate? In your opinion, will it bring at least some relief to New York City? Because I got to be honest, the mayor called it immoral. The governor of New York saying it's a drop in the bucket. It is nowhere near enough for what New York needs.
Well, in a $2 trillion package, the city of New York, in direct local funds for our local budget, is getting just over $1 billion, and the state of New York is getting just over $5 billion. Now, there is a lot of money for hospitals. There's a lot of money for small businesses. There's an increase in the amount of money for unemployment insurance. So those are all good things. But we have seen a gigantic hole blown in our city's budget. New York City is the 3rd largest economy in the United States of America. What happens here affects the national economy. We need more direct local and state aid. I do want to say that Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand inherited a very bad bill the Republicans put forward last weekend, and they improved it a lot. But we still need a lot more money for the city of New York and for the state of New York. And I know we have to run. I just want to end with this, Eamon. You know, this is a painful painful time, a difficult time, a hard time in New York City, but it's important to give people hope. New Yorkers got through September 11th. We got through Hurricane Sandy. We got through the fiscal crisis of the 1970s. We got through the Great Recession in 2009. We will get through this together. We have to continue to socially distance, to flatten that curve and build up hospital capacity. We have to stick together. We are one New York. New York, we need you right now. We need to stick together. We are one. We don't know when this is going to end, but we will only get through this together, and we have to be there for one another. New Yorkers are some of the greatest people in the world, and now